we'll rock it. This is going to be a very interesting episode of the podcast. Then,
It will be. It always finds a way to be.
I mean, Hunter, you should go. Hunter, you should go walk to your nearest Burger King and record.
I do actually have a Burger King like around the corner.
Oh my god, why did I guess that?
It's like the closest fast food restaurant, unfortunately.
No, so there's a Burger King as well. However, their Wi-Fi doesn't work.
That sounds
like
right,
it says it works, but it doesn't. It's like fake Wi-Fi.
It's fake Wi-Fi, just like their burgers are fake. 1 second, I'm grabbing a thing that I bought during the weekend.
Yeah, so Ben, this is how this podcast goes sometimes. We kind of just get off on, like I said, random tangents. We do try to keep it in the line of esports, but
yeah, do people? Yeah, I do like I mean, tangent podcasts can be fun, I guess.
Yeah, like we've had fun with it so far, and this is now the 59th time that we're doing it. So, no, Hunter. But yeah, like if not, we would probably stopped a long time ago.
True.
Hunter, why does it look like you're just about to flip us off?
I'm not. What do you think is in my hand, Dex? You get one guess.
A Bakugan.
No, it is technically spherical. It's in that realm. Anybody can guess. Spherical.
The game sphere?
I wish it was the game sphere. I wish. Something that this is spherical, that is only spherical because it is such a high number.
Oh, it's a 100-sided die?
Yeah, I'm going to take a guess.
It is a 100-sided die. Yes.
Why? You bought that?
It was like $10.
Okay, you know what? That's actually not bad.
Yeah, metal ones
were like for a circle.
Yeah, legit. So I'm just gonna roll it, and this is our chances of.
You have a 1 in 100 chance to get the episode number.
True. What is the episode again?
I'll tell you after you roll it.
Okay, we're rolling. It is episode 75. Let's go.
Not even close. You're fired.
What?
YouTube. I just looked up the YouTube. We should be on 59. I think.
Yeah, we're on 59.
You should roll for how old I make it before I die.
All right. Let's roll. Let's roll. Can I mulligan?
Did you get a one?
Sorry. I don't know if we started recording,
but
have. Like I was just clicking on a couple of the videos, and in episode 47, one of the chapters says, this is the Mara episode, says playing at Winthorpe instead of Winthrop.
Fuck it.
And I just think that Winthrop should call their academy team Winthorpe.
It would work.
Just because, you know.
I agree. Now, Hunter, what was the roll?
Well, which one?
The one that you said the mulligan.
Like?
The first one.
So originally it was 18.
Oh, so I'm dead.
That's a low number.
I mulliganed, re-rolled, and I think Dex saw my reaction. I got an 11 instead.
Hunter, why do you want to kill Mega?
I didn't choose to.
Yeah.
What about you, Dex?
Dex, do you always try and wear a different moderately obscure sports hat in every episode?
Yeah, I have several different hats. I
just literally was just clicking through the YouTube shorts, and I saw a Flyers hat. I saw an East Tennessee State esports hat.
Yeah, my alma mater.
You went to East Tennessee.
Yep.
Interesting. Were you there before or after when they had so I know they had a dome.
Yeah, the mini dome. Still there.
Stadium, right? But it's not the stadium anymore. It's it's different.
Yeah, they built the stadium on campus. It's a nice stadium. They can't knock down.
What do they use the old dome for now?
Football practice, band practice. There's some classrooms in there. All the athletic teams have locker rooms in there.
Interesting.
Technically, I think it's used as a Olympic training site for bobsled and luge.
That's odd.
It's
It looks very liminal.
let me
In
might
the
be a
photos
really
of it.
that might be a really good way to describe it.
I like the many weird domes of FCS football. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, but the one that I probably listen to the most consistently, like at least during football season, is the Sickos Committee podcast.
Love the Sickos Committee.
Yeah. So if you know that I like the Sickos Committee, the way that I approach Overwatch esports probably starts to make a lot more sense. That picture is far too well lit to show off just how liminal this place looks.
Yeah, let me see if I can find some better ones.
It's like the best way I could just like I would love to see it in person. I went to I was in Fargo North.
They played basketball here for a while.
Well, that makes sense at least.
They moved out though. This is also from 2002.
Yeah. Is this a sort of thing where it like would cost more money to demolish it
Yes.
than it does to keep it maintained?
Yeah, there's so much asbestos in this building.
It would just be a biohazard to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much, like they basically said, hey, we can't knock it down because we would have to basically shut down the campus and all of downtown Johnson City. So we have to keep it up. They almost
Fascinating.
they almost had a, like, when they were deciding between this and the football field, they had plans to actually renovate it, which is this right here, where it would have brand new basketball arena, it would have still track and field area, dorms, classrooms, everything. They spent the money on this though to build a football stadium instead.
Yeah. No, I was in Fargo, North Dakota last summer. Like on purpose. It was a stop on a trip I was doing. And I really, really wanted to do a tour of the Fargo Dome.
Ooh.
Just because it's a historic, actually not really historic, but it's a very important, very storied building in college football. I was able to like poke around the outside and like look a little bit on the inside, but they were hosting like a junior wrestling tournament. So I wasn't able to actually get a tour. But we could spend the entire podcast just talking about the various FCS football domes.
Shout out Kibby.
The Kibby Dome's on the list. Idaho State's weird dome. The one in Arizona that's like made of wood.
Northern Arizona. Oh god damn it! This is what we're gonna spend the first 10 minutes of the podcast talking about.
The Walk Up Sky Dome, I believe it's called.
Yeah, like this is. I'll be honest. This is just a gorgeous like facility.
I would not call it gorgeous.
It's pretty at least. If I can actually find a good photo of it.
The mini dome or the
No, the Northern Arizona one.
Oh yeah. Yes, that one is beautiful. Actually, do you know what? Have you seen photos of the University of Idaho's new basketball arena?
Yeah, that
I think it's
nice.
called the ICCU or no IFCU Arena.
Yeah,
maybe.
I believe you here.
It's really, really gorgeous. No, that's Stony. It's like Idaho something Credit Union. Yeah, IFCU Credit Union Arena or something like that. No, that. It's got all the wood. It's so beautiful. I would love to go to a game there.
Wait.
But I also
love the roof. What the fuck is this? What the fuck?
It's wooden benches.
I
Why do they curve?
Benches.
Why do they curve?
I also think, to be fair, I think the curve of the bottom, I think it might be distorted a little bit by the lens, potentially, of that photo.
No, because it curves up here as well.
No, but there's no way it curves. It doesn't curve consistently at the bottom.
I can't
You
zoom
like
in
look
any
in
further.
the computer, enhance.
I just tried and it said no.
Yeah.
All right.
This is supposed to be an esports podcast, right?
Yes, we ask ourselves this question every week.
Let me tangent let me like transition tangent. I don't like that word. I have long maintained that Boise State should do an esports LAN at or on their blue turf.
Ooh, that would be fun. That'd be fun. It would be there's a lot of risk in that considering it's outdoors.
Esports outdoors is kind of an unmatched aesthetic, but it's really hard to do.
Because you have to make sure, one, it's not too hot. Also, it's not too cold. How humid is it? Is there rain? Like, there's a lot. We're gonna have these kids play fucking League of Legends in the middle of a downpour. Whoever's computer survives the longest, they win. All right, but yeah. Speaking of tangents, let's actually tangent into the start of this episode here. About 11 minutes in this point, but everyone, welcome back to For the Love of Prod. As always, I'm joined by Huntertain and Megalass, and our guest this week is Ben. Ben, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me. I was very flattered to be asked to come on.
Yeah, we like to have different people on every week, and especially since me and Hunter have done stuff with you as very recently, I thought actually both me and him thought it was a good idea to say, hey, let's see if Ben wants to come on our podcast. And again, like we said in the Discord, ask questions or, according to some, interrogate you. So
Interrogate me.
should be fun. Mega, do we interrogate our guest here?
No. There's just like some light waterboarding, but that's a different thing besides interrogation. That's something different.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, we only technically waterboarded one person, and that was not our fault.
Who did we waterboard?
We're not
You don't
supposed to talk
remember?
about that.
No.
God, we're not, yeah, we
lawyers asked us not to talk about that.
yeah, we signed
I,
papers.
Listen. I can't tell if this is a bit or if I just forget things because both are possible.
The latter.
I think it is both, honestly.
The bit. It's a bit. Okay. Let's
It
just
is a
stop.
bit of a bit.
Let's just stop it there. That was okay. But
Yeah,
Ben,
we're good.
before we get into some of the normal questions we ask, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of give a short introduction of yourself here, and basically just talk about what you do in esports and kind of like the games you have covered. And that, fuck, where am I going with it? Just a short introduction of yourself.
Honestly, it's game singular. I've not done anything on the inside of esports and anything other than Overwatch, if you could even call what I do being on the inside. Yeah, my name's Ben. I in Overwatch, you might know me, or you probably know me from some of the interviewing, podcasting, and writing stuff that I've done. First with Kryex for 2 years, and now on the World Cup Watchpoint Substack that I started, and accompanying podcast that I've been doing. Beyond that, I also have done a little bit of social media management here and there. I've been part of the Overwatch Cavalry esports social team for the last year and a half, since maybe August 2024, I think. So just doing match coverage, some of the captions and graphics and just various things. Just for one example, today for the disguised space station match, I think our caption.
Oh God.
I wrote the caption for that.
Oh God, I Hunter sent me
Yeah,
that.
it was,
I chose not to read it
enough
because
Yaoi space station came to dominate. I wrote that one. So I thought it was I thought that one was pretty good.
I thought it was fantastic.
It's good. It's good. There's just there's a bit that's ran on way too long on this podcast with Yaoi, and I don't want to bring it up again.
Yeah, I think you were gonna say with Calvary.
Unironically, one of the longest running ones too, for some reason.
Yeah, there are a couple of I'm sure if we keep going, I could just find some of my favorite captions that I've written for Cavalry, because I am genuinely proud of some of them. I think some of them were really funny. Probably my favorite is I do most of the Pacific stuff just because I usually watch the region and like, I'm usually up watching it because it's not as early as Korea and Japan, and so I would do a lot of the captions and also picking player of the match for Pacific. And last summer, there was a match where Cold Metal was playing Gatos Guapos, or were supposed to play Gatos Guapos, and one of Cold Metal was having some like player availability issues, and Meme Machine, who low key, you should totally get Meme Machine on this podcast. He's incredibly hilarious. Or RX's actually. He's always a good podcast guest. He's probably got a lot of stories. But Meme Machine was stuck at the Malaysia-Singapore border, like stuck in traffic. And so Cold Metal had to forfeit. And so what I decided to do was, like, for the graphic, I made Meme Machine player of the match. Because, like, he was the reason that his team lost, but he was certainly the most impactful player in that match.
Please tell me there was a response from Meme Machine.
I do not remember if he. I mean, he thought it was funny. Yeah, he's a good sport about stuff like that. That's one of the things I like, and now sometimes I actually don't like quite as much about Pacific, is that like it kind of like nobody takes it that seriously, for better or worse. So
yeah, that's a sad thing about at least Pacific and some other regions at the moment. But we'll kind of keep moving on right here. And normally we have two normal questions we ask all of our guests before, like I said, we kind of spiral out into other stuff with the esports, or at least we try to. But Ben, I want to know what got you into esports, and then more specifically, what got you into doing stuff within esports?
yeah, so I started. I started playing Overwatch just like casually. I mean, I still honestly would say I play it casually. I think I probably play quick play, arcade, or stadium like more than ranked. Just in general, just because like I don't know, it's more chill, and like I play ranked sometimes, but like I wouldn't say that I'm a particularly competitive player, especially because like on console it's so hard to get anybody to cooperate. I still remember playing on Xbox like 2016, 2017, and like I didn't have like a headset or a mic. So I would just like stand in front of as close to the TV as possible so it would get picked up by the Kinect mic, and hope that like if I stood close enough there would be less of an echo. It didn't really, I don't think it really worked that much. I remember people like, yeah, I got called a squeaker a lot. Circa like 2016 when I started playing, which I think was like either right before or right after Eichenwalde came out. So I kind of played the game on and off from there to like 2020, and I started watching. I was like aware of the Overwatch League in 2018. I have an NYXL shirt from 2018 that I got just like on impulse when I saw that the New York team was good. I'm usually a Philly sports fan and everything, but I was like, this is an opportunity. Oh, this is like an opportunity to root for New York in something. I didn't really pay that much attention to it.
Or the best,
but
probably.
the first Overwatch World Cup, or the first Overwatch esports I remember watching was actually the 2016 World Cup, because I watched Muselk on YouTube. So that's how I got that's how I first started watching the esport. My first Overwatch esports memory is Korea nano boosting Symmetra on Eichenwalde defense, just like to BM Australia. And yes, for those of you who are new to Overwatch, Symmetra was a troll pick for the first like 3 years of her existence minimum.
Or 6 years of her existence.
No, like 2020, like she was like a niche pick. But here's something even more old school. Back in my day, hitscan players played Symmetra. That was like who she was played by. Like if you look at the old, like Symmetra being played with a hitscan is like a pretty new thing. But yeah, so I started watching Overwatch League like properly in 2020. And I actually became a Washington Justice fan. I don't remember how exactly I did. I think I remember joining the Washington Justice Discord server circa like around Countdown Cup Overwatch League 2020. And my, introduction to Overwatch League was like, Moth on Mercy, the Decay Zarya playoff run, like Fleta Lip, Plat Chat, like, and then I started watching contenders for the drops and kind of got hooked. I think for me, the 2020 contenders gauntlet was what really cemented me as which was really what cemented Overwatch esports as something I really liked. Sort of when I went from like normal fan to like big time fan. I still have a lot of fond memories of just like watching American Tornado and like those, evening contenders matches in 2021. It like YouTube contenders chat was different. It was almost like a tight knit family.
Oh, not a lawless wasteland.
No, it really wasn't. Like it was. I think the contenders YouTube chat was really held together by Rack Attack's family. That's where that started. Like I don't mean to brag, but like I think that was also one of the things that like really endeared me to it. Was I thought it was really cool like how this one player was like so supported by his family, and it was really wholesome, I thought.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say there was a point last year where I said that Mama Rack was a bigger personality than some NA OWCS players, and I still think
than most. I would say.
Yeah, like I still think that could be something like, even though Rack's not on a team, I think Mama Rack could still definitely just show up to any of the lands, and it's like, oh hey, I recognize that person more than someone who's on the stage right now.
Oh, easily. I think it's like it can just go a really long way of like people just being nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's really understated how much that matters.
Yeah, it is, and it truly is. Like, and we talk about it a lot because normally, like, we'll move on to the second part of the question here. No, I'll ask the second part of the question here, and then we'll go into why like being nice is normally like has been a really great thing, especially within the Overwatch community. But so you kind of told us what got you into esports. What keeps you coming back to it? Like, keep coming back.
Well, I should finish by talking about how I got into actually like doing stuff.
Yeah.
I went to the 2023 OWL Grand Finals, and it was a really awesome emotional experience. Like I had, I didn't go with people. There were people that I was sort of Twitter mutuals with, or was in this or that Discord server with a little bit there, but like I wasn't super ingrained. And it was just like a really fun and really like, at times like emotional experience. Like, I remember I cried at the end. It was, I was like, wow, this thing that I like, spent the last 3.5 years, like putting a lot of time into just enjoying and watching is like over. And I felt kind of motivated to get more involved. And so I reached out to Kryex, which at that point had recently done their pivot from being a team to like doing contenders news, and being like, hey, would you be interested in having somebody cover Calling All Heroes? And that's how it started. And then it went into me doing videos, like started with like video interviews. I did one with CB. I think my first ever interview was with Kindred, with her VTuber model, and it kind of went from there. And then once OWCS started, I just kind of started doing everything. And just kind of became like the public face of Kryex. And like I'm like mostly proud of what I did there. There were a lot of times where it felt like I was kind of the only one doing anything. Or the only person who was sort of motivated to kind of get stuff together. And I kept asking for like more support. I was like, please, like I can't edit every video myself. But that just kind of ended up being what happened sometimes. It got worse as time went on, in that regard. But yeah, it was kind of cool to have attention and be a person that people, or that at least some people kind of turn to as somebody with, if not knowledge, then like a person who brought access to those with knowledge. Or access to person who provided access to like the people who kind of made the esport run. And then obviously covering the Dallas LAN in person, which was something that like, was really fun, was challenging, but was also really rewarding. I think that is really where I made like a lot of connections and kind of propelled us forward. Over time, though, Kryex just kind of slowly died. Like, if I didn't have free time to like write stuff or post stuff or make videos or do interviews, nothing would happen. Like, we had other stuff. Like, we had Lionel's Pro Chaser Association, like weekly recaps were really cool. People liked those, and that was like he would write them, and then I would like do like maybe a touch of copy editing, but not much, and like upload and post them. And now everything on the Kryex website is gone because the owner stopped paying for the server. But that's neither here nor there at this point. So yeah, like when it kind of became clear to me that Kryex was dead, I was like, what if I just started a Substack? Just to like have a platform to put everything out, because at that point I had realized like I was never gonna get hired. I say hired in quotes because it's all volunteer, but like hired at OWTV. I don't need to go into why that much, but I think I'm like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
No matter how qualified I am, and I am extremely qualified. It just, it is what it is. It's stuff that's kind of beyond my control at this point. And even if I did, like, I wouldn't really be able to do the stuff that, other than the interviews, I wouldn't really have, other than the video interviews, I wouldn't have really been able to do the types of written content that I wanted to do, which was at times like a little bit more opinion driven, a little bit more bloggy, and kind of like occasionally using the esport as an opportunity to like dive deeper or explore other stuff. Like OWTV isn't going to publish an article on, how 5 different World Cup team managers all submitted their favorite food from their country as being a version of kebab. Like, it's not something they're going to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only other thing I'll add is I could talk about, I've done like a little bit of team management in Calling All Heroes. which was I kind of like got into almost by accident. It like started with me doing socials, and then I kind of like came up with this idea of, hey, like, what if we tried like doing Koreans? And that was a really fun experiment to be a part of. And not to brag, but I feel like that opened the door to the explosion of Korean players getting contracts in the Saudi Women's League. So if you play in Saudi Women's League and you get pooped on, phrasing, and you get crapped on by a Korean player on LAN, it's my fault a little bit indirectly.
You can cuss on this podcast. We don't mind.
I was if you get shit on by silence on LAN, sorry. I can't take total credit for that being a thing, but I do think that like they were maybe saw what we tried with Hypno's Icelus, and we're like, we have money and we have LAN. We could actually get these women Korean players on these teams. The Saudi Women's E-League is fascinating. It is such an interesting ecosystem, and like I've wanted to do like a deep dive on it in some sort of public forum for a while. This is not the place for it, but I have thought about like writing or making something that's like, what is this? How much money is being thrown around in this? What's the skill level? What is this for? Because I think a lot of people just like, if you're in NA, you have probably no idea
very little
what this is.
Very
maybe
little like
maybe you saw
recognition
Annie do it.
Yes, like that might just be it. That's probably just it. Like there's very little like talk about it at all. Like we know a decent enough about just Saudi E-League here because hell, you basically you see every EMEA OWCS team playing in it, and then still a couple other teams just participating in that as well. But I will say there's a non-zero chance that me and you have probably ran into each other once before, because I was at the OWL Grand Final. I was at Dallas for the first
Very
OWCS
possible, yeah.
LAN.
Very possible.
Dude, Toronto was so fun. I kind of hope they go back there at some point.
Yeah, because I remember people mentioning. Do you know Alex Yoshi?
A little bit. Like I
Yeah,
know who they are.
Alex-
I don't think I've ever talked to them.
yeah.
That might like.
Well, I think Alex mentioned like this, like because you're with like you started with like CGL, right?
CGL, yes.
Yeah, because I met. Were you in the Airbnb with Headrammer?
In Dallas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I like probably saw, because I like talked to some of the CGL people there, like Headrammer and Bailey and
I know Bullskunk was there, Hippie was there, Unfeatured was there.
Yeah. Yo, shout out Sean. Love that guy.
Congrats on the first weekend of OWCS ending.
Yeah, go Birds. Yeah, Sean actually was a participant in my thesis research, which was on Philadelphia sports fandom and civic identity. It was my sociology thesis at the school I went to, which was in the Philly area. And so I
Temple?
He was one of my I don't feel the need to say it. It's a small school in the Philly suburbs of Liberal Arts College.
Yeah, understandable.
But yeah, he was one of my interviewees, which was really fun. So shout out Sean.
Oh, love Unfeatured here. Been on the podcast before, actually. Honestly, also one of the reasons this podcast exists.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no, like he had an old podcast with someone. Their name was, oh shit, I feel so bad that I'm blanking on it. Oh dear God, I'm gonna be mad at myself for forgetting this. Shit, no, but he had an old podcast called the Prodcast, where it was basically what this is, where
That's great.
you come in, you talk about esports and what you do in like esports production, and that's it.
Yeah. He actually helped a little bit with some of the Kryex stuff at the Dallas land. He did
Yeah, I remember that.
he was the cameraman for a couple of interviews, including the interview that I did with Rack's mom, Kim. That was fun. You know who was also really nice actually, and is I didn't do an interview, but I did like a bit with her for a social media video or for a YouTube short, is Infected's mom, who was so nice. Just like it reminded me of like somebody of like my mom's friends. They're from Chicago, but like there's just overlap between that and like some of the sort of Long Island mom cultures that my mom is a part of. So that was really she was absolutely lovely. Yeah, I think most of the I've met like a couple of players' parents. I met Landon's dad in Toronto because he was sitting behind me on the day when London beat the Atlanta Reign.
Oh, I remember
that was really cool.
I have to imagine that was really cool. I remember flying in, like I flew into Toronto that day, so I missed, I believe, like the first game, and which was that Atlanta.
That was the second day. I skipped the first.
I just remember flying in, missing the first game,
day.
And watching it on my phone while I'm getting an Uber to my Airbnb, and it's like, holy fuck, Atlanta's blowing this. This is awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but let's move on to the second part of the question now. And like I said, I already said it. No, it's fine. It's fine. So, what keeps you coming back to doing stuff with within esports?
Honestly, part of it is I like the attention. The last 6 months have been kind of weird for me since I graduated college. I was supposed to start a job in Philadelphia and it got cut before I could even start it. And so I ended up I've just been living at home and it's been kind of rough socially. Long Island isn't the best place to be if you're like a 22-year-old fresh out of college in the best of times. And I have felt like kind of just starved of social interaction. Like the people that I was friends with in school a lot of them are in Philly or they're any number of places, but they're not on Long Island. And especially like this year, the past like 3 months, it's been really gratifying to kind of do all this World Cup stuff, in part because honestly it gives me something to do that's like fulfilling and that people enjoy and that also like involves talking to people, because like just in the situation of life that I'm in right now, it's like it's kind of hard to do that sometimes. I also with World Cup specifically, it's kind of works out well. Like BlizzCon is, I think, the weekend after my first week of law school in the fall. And like after my job got cut, I was applying to jobs for like months. And around September, I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, I'm miserable. I keep applying to jobs and just not getting anything. The economy's tanking. The sectors I'm interested in are getting stripped bare by the government. Research is being cut. Nonprofits are losing their funding. It's horrible. And my plan was always sort of to like work for a year and then go do law school. And so it's like, let me just focus on applying to law school, focus on doing all of that. And then once I'm in, then the first half of 2026, I can just kind of use to like do whatever at that point. It's like, I can travel. I've already done like a 3-week like cross country trip, or not cross country, but like I did like an Amtrak trip across the South in February.
Oh, nice.
You know, I'm going to Ireland on Thursday night for the weekend, and then going to London for a few days, and then meeting up with my family in Denmark to then go visit my brother who's studying abroad. Like, I'm planning to go to the Tokyo LAN. I might even try and go at this, like, depends on a couple of other things, but like, doubly so if anybody wants to like sponsor me or like hire me to do this, like, I'd love to go cover the Korea Overwatch World Cup group stage LAN. Because I don't think I can go to BlizzCon because of school. And so like all of that, I think it's really fun. Like, I think if there wasn't such a social component to it and such this like strong community aspect to it, I wouldn't quite enjoy it as much. And one of the things that I feel like I'm kind of slowly hoping to do, like even with my Substack, is to kind of create like a community of people that are, you know, into sort of the weird corners of the esport. Like, I have thought about like launching sort of a Discord server that's like for subscribers to my Substack, or like just kind of connected to it. I don't know if I'm going to, because that's a lot of,
it's a lot of work.
Running a Discord server seems like a lot of responsibility, and like, I don't know. So it's the same thing with CoStreaming. Like, I feel like I'd really enjoy doing it, but I also low-key would rather just be like a guest on someone else's co-stream. The amount of people who I was like, please, can I be on your co-stream during the Conference Cup weekend? It was a little bit pathetic. But yeah, does that answer your question? I feel, Hunter, I feel like you have not. I feel like I've been talking nonstop for 30 minutes.
No, he's used to this.
You would be surprised how common this is.
Yeah, that's there have been times, and I've always felt bad about it, where Hunter and Mega never talk for like maybe 45 minutes to an hour at a time. Like, especially in some of our earlier episodes, like I'll always.
The early stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
you've gotten some certified yappers on this show.
You want to know the funniest thing is that, like, we've had some certified yappers, but the people who've actually talked the most are the people who have said, I'm not that much of a yapper. Like, do you want me to be on? And then it's like, they just go on and on and on. It's like, there's been a lot of times in this podcast where it would end, we would talk with the guests a little bit, and then they would leave, and just like, I didn't expect the episode to go that way at all. They told me like they thought everything was going to be very short answers. They talked for 45 minutes straight.
Yup.
No, but like the co-streaming stuff is like, again, me and Hunter do it a little bit differently compared to everyone else. But again, we're all in the same band. But me and Hunter try to make it as close to a traditional kind of like broadcast.
It was great. I did get on Ewan's stream briefly to like give him some background on like the Argentina players. But even there, I was like, damn, I am yapping.
Yeah,
there's no way I've talked more than like Leg Day or CB did.
CB is an interesting one. CB is an interesting one because it's one of those episodes where, yes, we talked about podcasts, but it's more memorable for, it's one of those episodes where, yes, we did talk about esports, but it's one of those episodes, in my opinion, that's more memorable for when we didn't talk about esports.
Yes.
Because I like, if you just go look at the chapters in that episode, You'll
It's crazy.
yeah, we got off on some weird tangents.
You know, in hindsight, not so weird anymore.
Yeah, in hindsight, yeah, not the weirdest episode anymore.
Yeah. DB is great. I'm glad that she's finally
Mm.
getting the recognition that she kind of deserves in Rivals.
Like,
Because God knows she's worked for it. So.
And like Hunter can attest to this. Like all last year is like when stuff was being like Hunter can attest that I have said this when stuff was being like when CB wasn't getting selected, especially for Ka.
Oh my God!
Hold on.
Hunter, oh my God! Don't get me started on this. I don't have that much to say actually, other than it's bullshit. It's just ridiculous what happened, and I feel like I don't know all the details, but
I don't know either.
To my understanding,
no idea.
It was not merit based.
Like it's one of those things where I don't necessarily want to get too far into it because again, there's probably a line with it all, but it's like you had CB essentially be the face of Ka, the voice of Ka. Every LAN that she would be
literally
at, she would talk on camera during an interview, and it was like Golden Pants the last two times, both in Stockholm and at Dallas, talking about Ka, saying like, "Hey,
Golden Boy, not Golden Pants."
Fuck.
You poor.
I can't remember names. Y'all fucking know this.
Yeah,
Hunter knows this. I don't know. I think my name's Spencer.
You're Spectreon, right?
Oh God, I'm British.
We must exile you from the podcast now, unfortunately.
Fuck. I was gonna say I should be in bed, but no, Spec's probably not even in bed at this point.
I bet he's not. I bet
if
I go look out his thing, I bet his thing is still green.
No.
It's still green.
Yeah, Spec will Spec he's in college, and every time I talk to him, like he's like, oh yeah, I'm fixing my sleep schedule. I'm gonna try to at least become like a normal human. And then it's like the next day, I'm playing Overwatch with maybe like Headrammer and a lot of the other people from CGL. 11:30 at night, Spec just pops in. So I was like, hey, what's up? I haven't gone to sleep yet. Week Q and ranked.
Find out why he's awake, actually. Because they're playing right now.
Oh, yeah. But he's not on the team.
No, but he's coaching Drop the Guns, so bro kind of needs to be there. Plus, they're facing Cuddle Puddle, so they definitely...
Okay, no, Spec has told us this. He does not need to be there, because all he'll do is just flame them. That's it.
Buddy, we were talking in chat like he was going to be there, and that he had to fill for them for like the warm up.
Okay. Off the Spectreon talk because we don't need to glaze him any more than what everyone else already does. But no, co-streaming is a very fun thing. But Ewan, I did Team Mexico trials with Ewan, and it was very different from how I normally do it with Hunter or any of the other teams that I've worked with, because I was talking with you and says, okay, here's a video link, you can throw it up there, and he kind of did it his own way. He put his camera up there, not mine, but at the same time he said he was basically just gonna keep it his own way, and he went into it thinking that I was also gonna be streaming it as well, which was interesting, but I don't blame him for that. But he's a very I don't want to say he's a character, but he's one, very good at the game, and two, he has that audience which will actually be able to pull a decent amount of people in, which especially for co-streaming is a great thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I know Mega's talked about getting back or starting a co-stream, not much, but a little bit different. She wants to do it. She said was it Avast or Avril?
It's the Avast stuff.
Yeah, how Avast used to co-stream Overwatch League games, where it'd just be basically a whole bunch of people just in there talking about random stuff, and then hey, the face of game's on in the background.
It's occasionally, yeah. No, I think if you trying to replicate that can only. I think if you try to replicate something like that, it's not going to work. You just need to.
I think
to go you just need to like do what you want to do, and like the vibes will come.
I mean, I think it
You
can
can't
work.
force it.
I think it
Literally,
can
this
work.
podcast.
Yeah, it's like,
Literally.
literally just no. Don't tell Mega that. Do not tell Mega that her idea is basically this podcast. She won't do it then.
True.
Is
you are right.
Mega gonna like come back?
I
or-
hope so. I sent her a
Hopefully.
message. I sent her a message saying, "Is everything good?" and she hasn't responded. But she did say this could happen, considering she was standing outside of a McDonald's before. Gotta love when schools decides to say, "Okay, Sunday night, that's a good time to fuck up all of our student systems." ETSU did that ETSU did that all the fucking time. It's like Sunday night, okay, system update, internet's gonna be down till Monday at noon. Thanks. Great job. It's not like anyone was doing work on a Sunday night.
God,
But
that one person that was trying to finish their report, 10 minutes till midnight. Yeah,
me.
did that a time or two.
Me. I'm that one. I'm the one.
You are the one.
Yeah.
The one of one.
Oh god, that's scary.
Yes, it is.
But let's actually start talking about a little bit of the stuff that you did with the World Cup stuff, because I feel like for a lot of people, you having those podcasts where you would interview a player, and whether it be someone who covered them, much like with what you did with me and Hunter, or just another person from that country who knows the team there, like that, I have to imagine that was a lot of people's first real insights. So with all the stuff that you've done with World Cup, I have to imagine that like that was, for a lot of people seeing that and actually watching those, it was like the first real insights to a lot of these teams in the Conference Cups and all the teams you've covered as well. Like, what's been like the one biggest takeaway you got from all that stuff?
From doing them, or from seeing people's response to them?
Let's make it a two-part. Doing them and then the response.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna talk about EME and Asia separately from Americas, because I think the Americas ones had a very different vibe to them. So for a lot of the, I need to think. I need to formulate my words before I say them. Otherwise, I'm just gonna blabber.
That's fine.
It's all good. Formulate.
I think one of the really big things that I learned in doing all of the podcasts was like, people, the Americas, in Latin America, like people are really, really excited to represent their country. I think I give Blizzard, the organization of the World Cup has been a bit messy, but I think I give them a lot of grace because the team is very limited and the resources are limited. Making Americas a full round robin was an amazing idea. And it made that weekend so meaningful and so memorable for, I think, every team. And I really got the sense of that talking to all of these LATAM teams before the weekend. In particular, like, I would say the two that I want to highlight the most are Honduras, Guatemala, and probably Chile, or probably Chile. Honduras and Guatemala were two teams that I think nobody would have expected anything from. And like, it was really, really awesome to hear from Richie from Guatemala, or to hear from Lunar Sky and Celefal from Honduras about just how much they were trying. and using this World Cup not just as an opportunity to like go play a tournament, but as launch pads to kind of building or rebuilding a national scene. We talked about in the Honduras podcast about how this World Cup was the first time that any kind of Honduran community had come together. And I was shocked and really humbled and honored that my stupid, like, hypothetical rosters from last year were actually the impetus for the Team Honduras even forming. That was really cool to learn. That was really humbling, and, you know, did make me feel a little bit like, okay, this is all a little bit worth it. And like with Guatemala, hearing them talk about how in 2023 they had basically no preparation, basically no experience, and now coming into 2026, they wanted to show that, like, hey, Team Guatemala is like not a joke this time. And the open sign-up format and the full round robin gave us awesome stuff like that Guatemala-Ecuador series, or the
just the first
Panama-Honduras series.
Just the first day and a half for Guatemala.
The scheduling was the schedule was a little bit skewed. They put a lot of the best games on the first day, between teams of similar power levels. And it was fun to see Guatemala on the top of the standings, but also a little bit sad knowing that, they're just gonna lose and lose. And it's unfortunate, but they were atrocious against the good teams. I don't think they capped a point.
No, they did not. They did not. But like,
it was a real, like, they just hit a ceiling, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they were still able to beat all the other all the other sort of lower teams. And I think having it be a full round robin really gave them an opportunity to do that. Guatemala and Ecuador both got their first ever wins. Honduras got a win. Panama, unfortunate, but
I felt so bad for Panama because I don't think they performed the worst, but they never won. Like,
they were just way too easy to counterban.
Yeah, like, I just felt so bad for them. Like, I really enjoyed covering them in the games that me and Hunter were able to cover them with, because it seemed like, hey, they knew what they were doing. But like you said, bans killed them.
Yeah, and look, obviously there are massive talent gaps. The bottom 5 teams the bottom 4 teams in Americas, only one of them was able to take a map off one of the top 4 teams. And that was Ecuador getting that one map over Argentina, which was really exciting.
Wait, I thought Peru took the only map off of Chile.
No, off Argentina. Ecuador, yeah, that Gibraltar, where just like Kelly Dud went nuts.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Kirby.
Kelly Dud.
And that's my concern with the EMEA Conference Cup format, by the way, is that, like, it's gonna get really meaningless really quickly for teams like, I don't want to single anybody out, but like Latvia or Bahrain or Israel or Greece. Doing a full round robin with 18 teams is kind of impractical, but like, surely there was some way to get everybody at least like 5 or 6 games. I hope that they modify the format a little bit.
Did they announce the format in full?
Yes. The way that it was announced was like 4 rounds of Swiss.
Okay.
Where like once you get to 2 wins, you're in or something.
So,
Or once you have 2 losses, you're eliminated. It's weird.
Yeah, that's a very weird format.
It just feels like you would go about it like a regular qualifier and just do just do full Swiss. And it feels like it wouldn't just be that simple. And it's like at the end, it's okay, top 5, like how 90% of qualifiers typically are with.
Yeah, I feel
large
like
amount of
6
teams.
rounds of Swiss would be fine for this.
Yeah, that would make sense.
You just do 3 on, especially they're like BO3s.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
You know, it'll give. I think it's really important to like give everybody an opportunity to have to play games that are meaningful.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun for Latvia if they get thrown up against Netherlands, Belgium, like bang bang, and then they're done. Now, granted, I think that matters less in EMEA because most of those players are playing in like Face It and stuff anyway. Whereas in Latin America, you had way more players. You had more players who were kind of competing for the first time.
Yes.
I will say, though, like, just one thing. I will say there were a lot of players that we saw throughout trials for these World Cup teams and then in the Conference Cups that we are now seeing in actual Face It League this season for the first time, which is, like, that was the one thing I was hoping that we would see because we had a lot of players come out that me and Hunter had never seen before.
In South America?
Yeah, in South America, Face It, at least. Like, we saw...
I thought that wasn't really the... I remember looking at the... I mean, I know the South America Face It rosters, like, the roster lock isn't for a little while, but, like, basically none of the, like, Central American players were in...
Yeah, none of them were there, but, like, we covered a lot of tryouts for those South American teams that for players that didn't make
More of them are probably in NA, actually, in, like, the lower levels of
Yeah.
NA, Open, and Advanced and stuff.
Yeah, Open, Advanced, and Expert a little bit there. But, like, we started to see more players from those tryouts and some players from the Conference Cups being in Face It for the first time, which was something that I was really hoping would happen, considering, like, hey, we were really impressed with a lot of the players that we saw, even if they didn't make their country teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me the biggest, like, I think the biggest story that no one's talking about is Saxton Hale. Argentina qualified with a DPS line consisting of a guy that does not compete consistently and by his own admission kind of just like shows up when people ask him to. And a flex DPS who is literally a tank player.
Yes.
Yep.
Not like a situation. I thought it was a situation where he was a DPS by training who was like playing tank and Face It. Or it was like a mirror situation. No, he's a tank player and they just tried him on flex DPS and it worked. And not just like May, and she was playing Tracer and like looking good. And obviously like not always against super strong competition, but can we talk about, I think some of the Americas is weird because I low-key think some of the Conference Cup teams in Americas are than the teams that got invited. Like a little bit.
Did you say better?
Well, in one case in particular.
Did you say better? You cut out there for a brief moment.
Yeah. Like, I think Peru's probably better than Colombia.
Like, until we actually see Colombia's full roster, which they're now finally starting to slowly put out there.
Yeah, the roster, it's mostly out there.
Yeah, we're waiting on just the last slot.
Which is...
Yeah, and the trials they've streamed scrims, so this isn't a league, but it's either changed or hug. Either way, they're flex support. Either way, like, I think that team's weaker than Peru. Same case in Europe, to be fair. Like, I was talking about this with earlier, both during and a little bit after. Today I recorded the podcast for Belgium and Estonia. We were talking about, like, Norway and Denmark don't look super strong. Like, Norway is real lucky they got invited, because I don't know if they'd qualify if they had to go through the wild card. Colombia, I don't know. Getting temp is big for them. But, yeah.
Like, no, Hunter, you go ahead.
No, I'm saying I there are some really strong members of this team. I think that DPS line is like the biggest thing with Temp and Lich,
Yes,
who have
getting
had like
Lich is huge.
massive amounts of success this last year.
Mm.
Massive
Yeah.
amounts.
Have they been a DPS duo together before?
Weren't they on Nightmare together?
No.
No?
Mainly no. Lich has mainly been on Kintsugi for the past like about 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Now, on the other hand,
Mm.
I talked about how sort of hopeful and everything that Americas made me feel. Asia was kind of depressing. The teams that did not qualify, or the teams that qualified, were the three that. Well, okay, let me put it this way: the three teams that did not qualify in Asia were the three teams that I was hoping the most would qualify. There's nothing wrong with using diaspora players at all. But I was also like, it's also just because like I know people on Singapore and Malaysia, and like I was just kind of hoping that like the players who've like played in Pacific would do well. They didn't. It was pretty dreadful, honestly. But it is what it is. I think like having these three teams of mostly North America and UK based players competing in the Asia qualifiers is going to be interesting. We're probably still going to get representation from Singapore and possibly New Zealand through like the breakthrough player rule, which I mean I've talked about pretty extensively, so I don't need to talk about it more. But that is, I guess, kind of the one good part of it. It's just like, I just wish it didn't come at the expense of everybody else from that country. Like, it's great that Sagi's going to get to play for, like, probably Australia or maybe somebody else. But I just wish that, like, the rest of Team Singapore didn't have to die to make it happen.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part with it all.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think, like, look, obviously, no one is obliged to be patriotic. I'm certainly not very patriotic about my country. But I think it's interesting that not a single player did that in Americas. I think in part that's because in South America and Central America, they're very patriotic about sports. You see, like, you look at the language in Spanish that they use in social media and stuff to talk about the team. It's the same language they use to talk about like the national football team or baseball. You know, la selección, right? And like, it's really fun. You know, the Lep is Leo Messi, right? Like that's, you know, someone needs to buy him a Messi jersey. Actually, that'd be kind of fire.
I mean, he might already have one. You never know.
Dude, I want him to show up on LAN with a Messi jersey on. That would actually be so fire. Or no.
Number
no,
10,
a custom,
number 10,
a
you turn around,
custom
says
jersey
Lep.
with his own name on it. Yes. Oh my god, we need to get him. Somebody needs to buy him this. Someone absolutely needs to buy him this.
It'll happen.
Like,
It'll happen.
Like the World Cup. Like, I'm a completely off-topic thing. I'm a jersey freak. I love the aesthetics of sports.
Same.
World Cup uniforms have basically all come out at this point, and dear God, Adidas knocked it out of the park with their secondary kits for a lot of their teams, because they're these beautiful designs. There's like something that is a big reference back to the country, and it's mostly like, hey, yeah, here's like a floral design for something that is very well known for them. Argentina's is okay, I get it, but like Costa Rica and Chile's, those ones are incredible.
I have not seen that many. I haven't really seen them. Did Costa Rica make? Oh no, they did. They did make the World Cup.
See if I can find.
Oh,
No,
that's really nice. This like blue and pink.
Yeah, I'm looking it
The
up
away
here.
kit. Ooh, that's really. Oh, it's got the floral pattern.
Yeah,
That's
like
nice.
here's
That's really nice.
Here's Argentina's. No, get off my screen.
I
She.
like it. Ooh, it looks very like. It doesn't even look like a jersey. It looks like a shirt,
Well, soccer jerseys are just shirts.
which isn't a bad thing. Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Mexico has a cool one.
tell
To be fair, I do sometimes think that like football jerseys like can look kind of empty without like something on the front chest, but that's also just because I'm used to like American sports jerseys.
Like here's Chile's. I thought this one was really nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, we have to get off the topic of jerseys. I'll talk about for the rest of this podcast. I love them too much. But like there was someone after the Americas Conference Cup ended that did a nice little art with like congratulations to all the teams that made it. And it was like they had a certain Overwatch character wearing like the country's soccer jersey, and I thought like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. Let me see if I can quickly find it.
That's so cute. Can you find it?
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly find it here. Oh dear God, how far do I have to scroll back? It's
Very far.
Okay, I found it.
Mm.
I understand. Yeah, here we go.
Ooh, that's sick.
Like,
Wait, why is?
I don't know why. I don't know. Oh, because it's.
Okay, I have some gripes about the choice of characters, though.
Well, Reaper's right.
Reaper. Well, yes, because he's is he like canonically 100% like he's Mexican American?
Yeah, they said he's Mexican American.
Yeah, he's from LA, right?
I have no idea about that. I have no idea.
He's from yes, he is.
I understand where your biggest gripe probably is with this one, though. Now that
which one do you think it is? Because I have a feeling I don't know if it's the one that Lucio. I don't mind that much.
He's Brazilian.
He is but he is South American. He's
South American, but he's Brazilian, a team that's already locked in.
That's not my biggest. Is that supposed to be Chile or Puerto Rico? That's Puerto Rico.
That is, I believe that's supposed to be Puerto Rico because Juno is wearing Chile.
Okay, no, then that is stupid. Because if it was Lucio for Chile or Argentina, I wouldn't have that much of a problem with it. This art is great, by the way. We are nitpicking for the sake of comedy.
I love this art. It's so good. But
I like that this artist kept Genji's scars. Like on his arms.
And technically on his stomach as well.
If they really wanted, so this was something that like if you notice like on my podcast, right? Like I have like a thumbnail graphic for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to get creative with some of them. Like for the ones that are obvious, like, you know, like Emre for Turkey, or like Iari for Peru, Domina for India, Singapore for Echo, etc. Some of them I had to get creative. Like I used Sombra for Honduras. I did use a Lucio image in my Chile thumbnail. So like,
yeah. I mean, I get where you're going at with that one because South American. There's only like 3 South American heroes in the game, or is there only 2?
2. It's just Iari and Lucio, and then Sombra's from Mexico. Venture is half Mexican, and Reaper is Mexican American. I think it's funny that Venture being Mexican Canadian is kind of funny,
Mm.
and like it might have been one of those cases where they didn't have a nationality in mind for the character and just made it the nationality or ethnicity of the voice actor, which is I think what they did with Mizuki, right?
Oh, with him being
I read that.
with him being Asian.
Yeah, or just like they didn't have a specific country in mind
Mm.
when they designed the character, and then they like cast the voice actor and made it around that. But I do feel like, well, no, I was gonna say I feel like making that like they should have made Venture from like another Central American country, but also like I think whatever Valeria wants Venture to be is what they should be.
Leaning into what some of the voice actors want, I will say, is a fun thing because you get voice actors like Connor who just
Dude, he's great.
he will eventually get a line, like a voice line across that makes no sense to anyone but people who follow him on Twitter. And I'm waiting
We
for
don't
it.
talk about enough how Fariha went from Overwatch content creator to voicing a character in the game.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I think it's one of those things where it was like
It's so cool.
it was really cool. Like it's really cool because it's one of those things where it's like, hey, Blizzard is giving a like at the time everyone just thought, okay, hey, it's a small role to just in a comic for a character who's getting put in, but then they also just said I did not expect Onron to be in the game as soon. I thought they would sit on Onron for like 2 years.
They did it quick. Oh, Custa's still a part of the team right now. Still has been for what, a couple years now.
Yeah, Mizuki's his baby. Came out public.
I wish Mizuki was my baby.
Isn't he cursed?
Yeah, but he's hot, so
Perfect trade out. Let's go.
Okay. Perfect segue as well. So you talked about the coverage a little bit. Let's talk about now the reaction to it, because like you said, you briefly talked about it, especially with how the teams were kind of talking about like how they always would announce everything as if it's like, hey, we're following in the footsteps of traditional sports. What was the main reaction to all the coverage that you got from it?
yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to oversell the podcast. Like the amount of people that actually listen to the podcast specifically. Like I don't know how many people like actually listen to it. What is this here? It says I have like 400 total views, but that's across like all the episodes. So I don't know, exactly. But I think like both the podcasts and the articles, one thing I trying to be very cognizant of was like I was the only person doing team previews for Conference Cup.
Yeah.
Twin Salty did like a thread, but it was very surface level. No disrespect to him. It's just that's what it was. It was very surface level. And I tried to do as much research as I could, but sometimes it was just me going in and asking the players or the manager or the coach or whoever I was talking to, like, who are these people? Like Guatemala, like the players from 2023 I had seen before. Everybody else, I'm like, you tell me what I should know about the team. And like obviously the podcasts have different, you can kind of tell like the podcasts have different flows when it's a team that I know a lot about versus one that I don't know as much about. In terms of the reception though, it's been cool to see like people just having if people can like use it as an opportunity to learn something new, that's really cool. I think like the articles definitely get more of like the conversation going, like the Admiral, the piece about Admiral, obviously, or like that fun article about like Team India and Philippines that I put out in February.
Mhm.
As I was spending more time on the podcast, I didn't have as much time to spend doing that type of written stuff. But at a certain point, I realized that like for the Conference Cup teams especially, doing the podcast form was better than doing a written preview because it would actually allow people to hear from the people on the team. I've tried to get some of them. I had 2 people from the team. Some I had 1 person from the team plus like a caster or a content creator. In one case, it was a person in Malaysia. It was a person from the team and another person whose qualification was being Malaysian. There was the Philippines episode, which was a freaking mess.
Oh no.
Fun fact. I don't know. Should I say this? How many people actually listen to this podcast? Like if I say something.
I would think we average maybe around 20 people per week.
Okay. So the GM of Philippines DM'd me asking me to take down my podcast like a day or 2 after it went up.
Mm-hmm. For what reason?
Because for context, in the Philippines episode I had on, this was the only one that I had 3 guests for the Conference Cup. It was just a case of like scheduling and like basically me asking multiple people to be on it and like them both saying yes and me being like, well, I don't want to like tell somebody no, I don't want to kick someone off, so I'll just make this work with I'll make this work with 3 people. I had BTEL2, one of their DPS players. I had Chon Lee, who is a 2023 Team Philippines player who like lives in the Philippines, trialed for the team, didn't make it. And I had Cinnabar, who is part Filipino and kind of was there to talk about some like the NA Face It Masters players on Philippines. The Philippines GM'd said, I would kindly like to request you to edit out the parts about the sensitive team information regarding the roles and team compositions, which was like me asking BTAL2, like, what does the DPS rotation look like? Or like, could we expect to see Leo play a lot of Sigma or like Diva? Or like, oh, this team has 2 native flex support players. Like, who's going to play main support? Really basic stuff that like any team preview podcast would talk about.
Yeah.
It was just really funny to me that she, especially because, okay, so she was going to be a guest, the Philippines GM, Bun Ninja. I'm burning so many bridges right now.
I don't think there's that many Filipino or Philippines listeners in this to this podcast, so you're fine. You're not burning any bridges.
I mean, this isn't even like, I don't have anything against her. It was just kind of funny the way this the way this played out. She was supposed to be a guest, and we had some scheduling issues, as expected when you're kind of scheduling across time zones, and I had a bit of a time crunch. And she was like, can we do this next week? Because, I have school, I have this, I'm really busy. And I was like, well, next week is after Conference Cup. And obviously Philippines ended up qualifying. But when she said that, I was like, that sounds like a lot of overconfidence to me. Which ended up being deserved. I guess NA expert players are just better than APAC. Not really though, because Singapore wasn't at full strength. Singapore is just cursed to never be able to field a proper World Cup team. I don't know, maybe there's something in there about Singapore being cursed by capitalistic individualism or something. I don't know. So it's like you duck out of doing the podcast and then not duck out, but you back out of doing the podcast and then ask me to take it down. Like,
Yeah.
what? Because your player came on the podcast.
And that's
Like-
a pretty standard generic question I think you could ask every team in the world and they would have almost the same exact answer to it.
And like other guests have been like, "Oh, I don't want to give too much away." You can do that. Like that's fine. Cuz I get it. You don't want to reveal if that especially like hero pool information or like rotation stuff, with hero bands, that's tactical information. But also like what are we doing here? Like on the one hand, like does this matter that much? And on the other hand, I'm like, is it even that deep? If you're curious, by the way, of the podcast episodes I put up, the ones that did the best were Greece, New Zealand, and Argentina.
Nice.
Greece, I think, like, because of how diverse that roster was, it kind of appeals to like there's a lot of different people who would have even like a personal reason to be interested in it. Team Greece is so fun. I love how there are like 4 Sheffield Dragons World Cup players.
Oh God, not the Sheffield Dragons. Oh God.
It's kind of amazing actually. Like,
Where's it at? Oh, I have it right at the top of the list. That's
I'm
perfect.
looking for it.
they have they have
Immediately.
Mormar and Tycho on Greece. Grank was on Malaysia, and Billy is on Pakistan. It's kind of amazing.
The Sheffield Dragons are such a fucking.
They invited me to their Discord server. One of them they called me the Nardwar of Overwatch, and I had to look up who that was.
You know who Nardwar is?
God. You know what it is? You're on the podcast. We have to know.
Okay.
Have to know.
I don't think he knows that. Yeah, he doesn't know that.
No,
he doesn't know enough that you're making a reference.
That reference was for you, Dex. That was for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was a period where I jokingly referred to myself as the Stephen A. Smith of Calling All Heroes. And like, I remember like people would there was a very, very small community of people who would eagerly anticipate my CAH power rankings, in part just to clown on them. But the thing is, like, I don't mind when I'm wrong about stuff. It's kind of good. Like, I don't mind being the fool for someone else's dunking. Because at the end of the day, like, it's all attention being put on their team. Like, that's the goal. Like, yeah, like I put Pakistan at the bottom of my power rankings, and then they did well. Like,
didn't they technically win?
Don't I look stupid? But yeah, my Asia power rankings were complete horse crap.
That's why me and Hunter did not do power rankings for the Americas. One, because we liked too many of the players, and we didn't want to curse anybody.
My Americas power rankings were mostly good. I was way too high on Panama for some reason.
I mean, like, I would have been too. I probably would have put Guatemala as last, honestly, just because they were so last minute with everything.
And I don't think I was high on Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica just choked.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, especially with covering a lot of their show matches early on. I thought they would be like that third team. I thought they'd be the third team easily.
So did I. But maybe I remember when they beat Chile in the show match. Somebody was like, "Oh, Chile was trolling. Like they're better." And I'm like, "Really?" And then the actual tournament happened, and I'm like, "Yeah, maybe Chile is just better."
Yeah. To be fair, when I think Dex and I's reaction when we saw like the roster, like outside of like the tank, which was a little more unknown to us, when we saw like the DPS and support line, we're like, oh yeah,
this team's in.
this team's gonna get through.
No, it was
Chile or Costa Rica?
Chile.
Chile.
Oh no,
Chile.
I thought Chile was going to get through.
Yeah,
It's
no
more that
I didn't expect
mean,
them to only drop
I
a
think,
map.
A map.
No, I thought that I last minute put them first, so I was right. I was the most right about Chile.
Yeah. I saw someone that put them like 6th. I was
Yeah.
like, dude.
I was like,
Was
man,
that Cartman?
it might
Was that OWCS struggles?
it might have
the
been.
OWWC struggles. I
You
was
should
like,
get him
bruh.
on. You should get him on the podcast.
I would love to get him on.
That'd be awesome.
I would love to
Yeah.
get him on if he even knows about this podcast. But it was
He
like,
probably doesn't, but
like-
you should still get him on.
I remember doing that Chile episode with you, and you, as the clip on for Twitter, you had me talking about the DPS line. And I remember
Dude,
that got so
The
many
Brazilians
people.
got so mad.
They got so
Oh my
fucking
God.
pissed. My favorite
It's
one.
a classic. This happens sometimes with podcast clips where something like this happened with a Pacific, one of my Pacific stage previews, which honestly I love those. I was gonna do one. Maybe it's actually not too late to do one for this stage. I just need somewhere to post it. But like, where I post a clip from a podcast, and the person who gets flack
Yeah,
is
LCS.
not actually the person who said the thing in the clip.
LCS got all the shit for that, and I was the one who said it.
You were the one who said it, and I stand by it. So my hot take: I don't think Brazil looks very strong.
I think
As in, like, not strong enough to get top 4, or
I think having
I
Hydron,
do not think they're gonna make LAN.
that is a hot take. That is
yeah,
a real
'cause
hot.
I would
Wait,
definitely-
let me put an addendum on that.
Yeah.
If they get WedTube, I think they do.
No, I could agree.
If they get Wen and make the comms work. If they do not get a breakthrough player, I do not think they're going. I'd be worried about them making LAN. They low key have no backline.
Mhm.
Mm.
Argentina
Because
needs to break through
there are
bad.
people that are there are players that are good, but I don't think they are ones that can replicate the same success that you have from tank and DPS players. I think that's
They
the
don't.
difference.
Brazil does not have the best player in any of the 5 roles. Now, granted,
Wholehearted agree.
I think they probably have the second best player
In a couple of them.
in almost every role. Like, I think Hydron is the second best hit scan. I'm assuming Ludwig's going to be the flex DPS, right?
Ludwig or Lig Tab?
I think there's a possibility they take both. In my mind, I think there's a possibility.
Yeah. Ludwig's probably the second best, maybe flex DPS. But I don't think I would not put Ludwig over Lich.
That's reasonable.
They don't have the best
That's very
tank.
reasonable.
They don't have the best flex support. None of the best main support. Like they're going all in on Hydron. World Cup Hydron.
Yes.
That's
World
gonna
Cup
work.
Hydra.
Fair enough.
The tank situation. I hope they make the right pick because one of their
Yeah, we know. We have figured it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we know.
yeah,
you know about the
the thing.
yeah. We were made
The-
very well aware.
Yes.
the thing that the fact that
Yes.
one of the tank players is just a horrible person.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we will opt to
Which-
not name because it's just we all know what's going on here.
I
already
don't think
made-
I don't think everybody listening does. I was sent screenshots of stuff and I wasn't sure whether
were.
I should
We were
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
It's the thing of where I think we don't want to be the person to throw it out.
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Let's just yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not gonna say anything else
no,
because
moving on from that. No. I, like the one thing, like especially with like going back to like the video you posted from me with Chile. Like I went back through reading the comments, and there was one I really wanted to respond to so much. It said, "I'm going to come back to this when they don't qualify," and I so
Chile just
Crazy.
blitzes through qualifying and barely off the bat.
I so badly wanted just to post the picture after they qualified of the fucking Alice in Wonderland rabbit holding up the clock.
That's a great image. You know who uses that image very well is Meme Machine. Just to tie us back to what I was saying before, he uses that image very, very well as a reaction image. But to go back to answering your question a little bit about the reaction to my World Cup coverage, it's good to know that there are people that care. I know that the audience for, the Team Panama podcast or the Malaysia podcast or the Latvia, when they get around to doing Latvia, is limited. But my thought is basically like, nobody else is going to cover those teams. I was pleasantly surprised by the Conference Cup co-stream viewership. Big props to Taniki for doing that. His stream was popping. Grupo Senju was getting good viewership. OC was getting good viewership. Bull Skunk was getting solid viewership. You guys were getting solid viewership.
Yeah, what we saw Senju and Monday, they had like 1,000 people at one point.
Yeah,
we
they
were
hit
like,
over
holy
1,000.
Like we were.
Taniki had like 3 or 4K.
Yeah, it was crazy when I looked over. I was like, oh.
Dude, Taniki's his co-stream today in OWCS had twice the number of viewers as Disguised Toasts.
Yes,
I thought Disguised Toast was such a big streamer that that's why they gave Disguised Partner. Meanwhile, he's getting doubled in viewers by Taniki.
Does Taniki have an org?
Aura farming.
Does Taniki have an org?
Yes, he's with VP.
Okay.
But Disguised Toast owns one of the teams.
Oh my god.
I'm happy Disguised is in here, but outside of what I think I've heard Disguised only in Valorant. I'm happy they're in Overwatch.
League team, didn't they?
I feel like everyone's had a league team at some point.
Probably.
Nightmare had a league team for 2 days.
Yeah, and now they have a finals team, which apparently is doing very well.
Yeah, aren't they don't they have skins in that game?
They won the world championship.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, pretty well for themselves.
Yeah. But Hunter, we're at that point in the episode here. Do you have any questions for Ben?
Like that, or I assume you mean that question or optional questions? Because I know we're starting to get pretty.
That question.
Okay, yeah. I assume we're getting to that point.
That question.
Yeah, that question. Yeah.
The hardest hitting question you're going to be asked this podcast.
Yes, it's either the best question or the worst question. There's not much of it in between here. So obviously, many of us, we have been in the space of either esports or just gaming in general. All of us, as young people within the world, we came into gaming and we decided we needed to put a name on ourselves, whether that was related to our actual name, whether it was simply something completely unrelated. So this is me asking you, why did you decide on your handle? And I know pretty much everyone refers to you as Ben, so this question.
Okay, so that's the funny thing, which handle? Because my Twitter @, is different from my Discord username.
What's your gamer tag? That one. That's
it's my username in Overwatch is Jin Argent, which comes from a Ruby OC that I made when I was in 8th grade, Ruby RWBY.
Yeah.
It was a username that I made for an OC, and it became my username on Amino, and then it became my username on Instagram, and then just kind of stuck from there. I'm not particularly attached to it at this point. I kind of just keep it out of just inertia. It is kind of funny sometimes, people will see me on. People don't always realize I'm the same person on different platforms. That did once happen. So obviously, look, I have been known to occasionally on occasion leak stuff, or just kind of you know, I had that Liquipedia user page of like rosters that I would update, which I kind of prefer to posting on Twitter because it's sort of like if people are interested, they can look at it, but if they're not interested, they don't have to see it. I think that's a happy medium. There's a place for stuff like that in the off season. It keeps people engaged, and there's a lot of fun in speculating. But I think keeping it siloed to my Liquipedia user page was probably a good idea. But involved in that is obviously having sources. And at one point, there was some of them I talked to on Discord, some of them I talked to on Twitter. One of them, who I mostly talked to on Twitter, I messaged on Discord asking him something. If he had heard about, I don't remember what it was, X player joining Y team or something like that. And then he comes and messages me on Twitter asking if I had heard about the thing that I had just asked him on Discord about. Because he didn't realize that was me, the person that he talks to on Twitter.
Oh man, did you go back and forth saying no? I haven't yet.
I could have really pulled the strings, but I didn't want to.
You think you're talking with two different people, and no, you're talking to one person. They're
spreading, yeah.
They're rage baiting you
I
in
do
one
wonder
and
if like
giving
people, yeah. But my Twitter username Octung Baby just comes from the U2 album. Octung Baby.
Okay, that's
Nice.
reasonable actually. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I thought you were gonna ask about because I saw like some of the podcast episodes are titled like with like superlatives. So that's
the titles are just whatever the hell comes up in my head.
Yeah, they are.
Oh,
They
I
are
thought
like
you were gonna.
95.
I thought you were gonna ask about the thing because one of them was like,
Wait, let me pull
cult
up.
caster, voice of reason, jack of all games, Mr. Wholesome, like sort of the cheerleader. I thought you were gonna ask about the thing in my Twitter bio that says lore keeper.
Well, we can ask about that right now.
We can.
That could be the name of the episode if you want it to be.
That's what that's where I thought you were going for with it. No, title it whatever is funny. No, that's what I thought you were gonna ask. Yeah, I wish I had a better story about my username.
No, don't even worry about it. We've had everything from just very common like 5 seconds to like the extreme of the extreme. I'm happy with anything at this point because nothing can. I don't think anything.
I'll
can
say this:
surprise me
my Ruby OC that Jin Argent comes from, the like picture that I used for him was Tsubasa from Beyblade.
I love people who make OCs. They're always so fun.
And his weapon was something from Kid Icarus Uprising that was like,
oh my god.
It was like claws that like shoot bullets. Kid Icarus Uprising, great game, by the way.
10th anniversary this year, right?
Is it really? Wow.
Or is it 15th?
No.
Yeah. Or is it 15th?
It's probably 15th.
I've started to see more. I've started to see more Kid Icarus art on my Twitter feed that I've seen in the past.
Bring it back. Can we get a sequel to Kid Icarus Uprising?
No,
please?
You'll just get Dark Pit and Pit in the next Smash game.
I'm fine with that. I was a Dark Pit main in Smash 4 when I would like play that game. Not like competitively.
Never played.
You actually asked, like you said, games plural. The only other game like there was a period where I watched Valorant esports. I kind of got into it through Plat Chat. I would watch it from time to time. I liked the Plat Chat Valorant podcast. And I like tried to follow Marvel Rivals, but low-key that game is really hard to watch.
It can be.
Yeah.
The only other game I would say that I'm like moderately competitive with is actually Pokemon. I am a bit of a Pokemon Showdown enjoyer.
If only Mega was here, she would be all over this.
I don't play it. I'm not like super serious with it, but like I'll just like go on Showdown from time to time and just like play, on the ladder. I haven't really gotten into VGC that much, but maybe with Pokemon Champions coming out, I will. I did once compete in a Bad Pachimari League hosted VGC tournament.
Ah,
That is fun. I played in the BPL organized Balatro tournament. The one-time Balatro tournament.
Actually, I have technically competed in one Overwatch tournament, which was I was a sub on Drexel's Aurora Series team.
oh my
Oh,
God, Drex.
Well, that's how I know Sean.
Yeah, that's how you know Sean.
I like met the Drexel people through CB because Drexel's in Philly. I went to school near Philly. I hung out with some of them in Toronto, and then just kind of stayed like loosely involved in like Overwatch server. Like I would hop in their pugs from time to time. I went to like one of their in-person events. It actually started for me wanting to promote a concert at my college with like a bunch of Drexel bands, and like I saw that I had a mutual on Twitter who went to Drexel, and I was like, oh, could I like promote this show, and like could you promote this show to the Drexel esports people, and yada yada. So shout out Drexel Overwatch, y'all are real ones. But I subbed in for one match that was against like actually a good team that had like Avery from like Bellevue and maybe like Regime. It was horrible, obviously. I played the first map on support and just died on cooldown on Brig, and then tried tank the second map because we just needed someone to fill. Like I was like the third string, playing on Xbox, like so. That's my one competitive experience is getting absolutely annihilated by Avery in like a Sigma mirror on Midtown.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's a chance that I probably ended up actually running into you in like more than a non-zero chance because I did hang out with Sean a decent amount in Toronto, so I did probably end up talking to you for a brief moment.
I feel like we interacted in Dallas.
Yeah, you did. If you were at the CGL house, yeah. Then
I was not, but I was like, I remember this very specifically, and I also just remember it because now that memory is like, whenever you like have an interaction with somebody, then you hear about them dying, like that interaction gets seared into your head. I watched M80 get eliminated at the Dallas Major, sitting next to what's her name, Nenmi and Bailey. Because like the Winthrop people, I had been like talking to Bailey, and that's just like where I sat for that match. So like I remember that very vividly because of that reason I said before.
If you remember Headrammer's bald head, then yeah, you were probably near me.
Yes, I remember his bald head very vividly. How can I forget it?
Yeah.
Megalass, what are your thoughts?
Zero thoughts going on in that head currently.
Yeah. Here, but we do have one more question, and because since Mega's still having to deal with internet issues, I don't think
Megalass is coming back.
Yeah, she's not, unfortunately. We have one more question. This is Mega's one, and I'll try to phrase it as she normally would. So,
can you try and do it in her voice?
No.
Really grinds my teeth.
So she basically, her entire normal thing is like, in the world of esports and what we do, interacting with people, there's always times where they piss you off, do something about that. The pettier, the better. But this is the moment where she wants you to spew hate and vitriol about something that has really grinded your gears within what you have done in esports. The pettier, the better.
Does that also mean like the less serious, the better?
You can have it be less serious. You can have it be serious, but keep it a vague, so we don't know necessarily if you're talking about someone individually or a concept.
Okay. Can I give a couple answers to this?
Yes, but I will say
I'll try and keep it short. I know you'll have a match in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Some parts of covering, I will say the more I learn about the inner workings of esports, the more cynical I get. No, not more cynical. The more I realize how naive I am sometimes. I think the whole breakthrough player situation was like a really like eye-opening example of that for me, where I just kind of realized that like I was a little bit living in like a dream world where like everyone got along and everyone was like motivated by the same sort of high-flung ideas of like harmony and cooperation and kind of, you know, spirit of global diversity that I imagined the Overwatch World Cup to be about. On a more grounded level, this comes from my management days. Overwatch players, I'm speaking to you. Overwatch pro and not really pro players, semi-pro players, tier 2 players, tier 3 players, CAH, Faceit League, etc. Read stuff. Read the rules. Oh my god.
Oh dear God! If Mega was
Read
here, she would.
the fucking rules.
Oh my God! I wish
I
Mega was here for this.
understand that it is to some extent a manager's job to do that. Shout out Izzy. I remember she would sometimes go every tournament. She would go through the rule book and like annotate it. And, like, that's really good. That's being a good manager. But also, fucking read the tournament admin announcements. I cannot handhold you through everything. I think like one of the reasons that I liked managing in CAH was because it was basically the only major tournament that didn't have region restrictions. And I love kind of funky international rosters. It's part of the reason I like making those Liquipedia cards is because I like seeing all the different, I like seeing different flags next to each other. You know, it's like fun. I think of it as kind of a little conceptual art form. But as a result of that, I've had to do some pretty nightmare scrim scheduling. Players who promptly fill out when to meets are amazing. Players who I have to chase down multiple days in a row to fill out a when to meet can be kind of frustrating. I also, one of the other, kind of going back to, just to sort of tie a bow on this, to what we talked about at the beginning with Mama Rack. Please stop being mean to the admins. Most of the time, the people that you are interacting with who are tournament admins are not the ones making the decisions that you are frustrated with. This was a problem in Calling All Heroes last year, and I don't want to go into details, but it really negatively affected some of the people who were working on it, who were not responsible for the decisions that frustrated the player base. The issues you have were with Blizzard and with the resources and the stipulations and the parameters that they gave Radiant to operate CAH in, not with Radiant. Just be nice. Also, please stop saying slurs.
Dear God. Dear God, yes.
Please stop using the R slur. Please stop saying the N word. You know who you are. It's not cool. Like, it just, you don't seem as edgy as you think you seem. You just kind of sound like an immature 13-year-old. And it makes the rest of us look bad. And in the case of the N-word specifically, like, you are making an ecosystem, you are making a scene that already has really not that many Black players, casters, creators, not more hospitable to people. stop doing it. Seriously. This is not even just about the RuPaul thing. There are other things I'm talking about.
Mm.
There are other people, and I'm sure everybody listening to this is thinking of a different player that they have seen use language that they should not be using. And I guarantee you every single one of us is sitting on screenshots or message logs of people saying things they should not be saying, and we all have a story of seeing it. And I'm not saying that everybody that says something inappropriate should be ostracized and deplatformed completely, but we need to stop doing it. Seriously.
Wholehearted agree with you there. But that will do it for this week's episode of For the Love of Prod. Ben, I want to thank you so much for joining us this week. Wish Mega would have been here for it. I think she would have had some fun stuff to say, especially about the cost stuff. Really about the cost stuff. But again, man, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your night. Hunter, want to thank you as well for joining me. Mega as well, even though she's not here. Thank them for both joining me for as long as they possibly could. And thank you so much for either watching or listening. Make sure you join us next week for another great episode of For the Love of Prod. And as always, I don't know who the next guest will be. You'll figure it out when I do. But until then, hope you have a good week and see you then.
I've suggested like 6 in this episode.
I will take you up on maybe some of those. But everyone, see you next week for another great episode of For the Love of Prod.